All right, in today's video, I've actually already replaced this part right here, but that's the part number for it right there. And you'll see when I do this piece right here, if you can see right where these keys are right here, they're broken on mine. So there you go, square off that part number, if you guys can see it. Sorry, there you go. And yeah, we're gonna get this car in the air, and this is probably likely gonna be the last video you guys ever see on this car, because with any kind of luck I have sold it, or it is for sale anyway. So I've got one guy that's been messaging me, and he did ask for my YouTube channel, so if he's watching this, this is the car, and this will hopefully be the last repair I ever do to it. With that being said, the rear bearings were done about 3 years ago. The front bearings both were done a year ago, I think. My brakes are kind of rusty. You can see how they're sitting there, but the brakes were done about 2 years ago. I've serviced them about once every year. This car has probably been one of the most reliable cars I've ever owned. The only reason I'm selling it is because, well, I bought this thing for another purpose, and I don't do that anymore. So I literally just daily drive up and down the highway. I want something that's a little more fuel efficient, and that's the only reason I'm selling it. If I was still doing what I was doing before, which I had a delivery service, I would still drive this car every day. These winter tires are brand spanking new this year. They're the Goodyear Eagles. Honestly, if I could buy these tires for my own car, my next vehicle, I would do that. These are probably the best tires I've ever owned outside of the Sedan Ice Blazers. Those were wicked tires, but these tires on this car is so planted on the road. It is absolutely unbelievable. And again, she's been a wicked car to own, and just super reliable. The only thing that's known on these things really is the 3.5 liter and the well, the 3.7 and the internal water pump on these cars. And honestly, even those, yes, it's a job honestly well worth doing if you want to keep your car for any length of time. It's definitely worth doing. This car here gives me no signs whatsoever of a leak, no oil consumption. Whatever I do, my oil changes every 8,000 kilometers or 10, somewhere around there anyways. I don't wait for it to tell me it's due. That's the last thing I want to do. So that's it. This is going to be my last video. This mount right here is called the torque resistor mount, and mine doesn't look bad, the one I took out of here. But there's a little bit of separation there, and she's not dry cracked, but this does sit right beside the exhaust, and not every single one of these, I've actually noticed, give me a sec. So this mount sits in this orientation right underneath here. This is it right here. And you'll see on mine where I've got these little threads sticking out, and they do not go through the other side. So they're threaded in, okay? Now, with that being said, I've noticed the other day there was a 2014 Explorer in and has the exact same mount, except it didn't have these threads in. These are for a heat shield. This sits right beside your exhaust, which you're about to see. And I have a funny feeling this may be part of my vibration issue. Like I said, you can see a little bit of separation, a little bit of cracking in this. But you'll see right here where the key is on mine, you can kind of even see where it's been scraping on this a little bit. So I have a funny feeling that that's been my issue with, actually it's on this side right here, sorry. That right there. So I have a funny feeling anyways that it wasn't a waste me replacing this right here. But when I did, I realized that this mount right here, the bracket support is what they call it, was also bad. So I've got to replace this. To use that, I'm going to use a wobble that I've taped up because it's really loose, a 15 and a 10 to get the heat shield off. So I'm going to get this car up on the ramp, and we're going to get this video started. Oh, she's warm in here. She's been sitting here for a minute. Roll this window down. Starting. I don't want to warm her up too much because I do have to get the work around the exhaust. I'm just going to roll this car back a little bit. Stop her there. E-brake on. Oh yeah, just as the radio starts there. So I'll get my ramps, get that, and get that going there. Okay, so this mount right here, I have to get these little nuts off. This is for the heat shield. So you'll see on this new one that these ones tap through, whereas on the old one they had like a Torx bit. These guys will actually tap through. And like I said, on a 2014 that just came in, it didn't even have these on there. So and you see how it's right beside the exhaust, especially right here. See how close that is? Almost barely, not even the thickness of my finger there. So this mount would get very, very warm. Especially where they say, you know, the PTU itself, while just it's so close to the exhaust, and every 30,000 kilometers. So my PTU is probably due. Actually, I think it is due by the next oil change for me to flush that out, change it again, because it was probably about 20,000 I think ago that I did change the fluid in it. It came out nice and clean, like great clean. It was friggin' awesome. So no complaints there. But if you do own one of these with the power transfer unit all-wheel drive, because not all of them are, but if you do, Ford used to say that these were non-serviceable lifetime oil. Don't even know what that means, but that's what they would say. And they've recently changed their tune, and now they recommend you do it every 30,000 kilometers, and that's 75/40. There is a video on my channel of me doing that. On this one in particular, all I have is a drain. I don't have a fill. So there's one with a fill only, so you got to suck it out. There's one with a drain and fill, and there's one with just a drain, and mine has just the drain. So there is that. Now what I've got to do is I'm going to see if I can change the angle here, but I have to get my jack right here, because this is actually where you got to lift so that this thing here actually falls into place. You don't lift anywhere else on the engine. Strangely enough, you lift right there, it actually gets this thing perfect. So I'm just going to move my camera here a little bit and get the jack in here, and we'll get to her. Alright, so now get this jack to come up. I'm kind of zoomed in right here so you guys can see this. So I will literally just go here. See, you'll start to see how it lifts the car ever so slightly. That's all I need to do. I should be able to get this lower one here out. That is out. Now I'll tell you what, this thing actually, swear to you, I thought it was stripped. It just goes in so bad. It might come out bad too. So loud noises. Oh wow, that thing is in there tight. Holy crap. So I might have to get my wrench on this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get my wrench on that. So I'll go grab my extension and do that. I will say I didn't use power tools the first time I did this. Off. Yeah, off. I don't remember this thing. Being this tight, but it does come out tight. All right, that's broke loose. So let's see now if I can get this thing on her. And that's exactly how she goes in too. Like, she's really tight, and then she loosens off as she comes out. But as I go back in, it's really, really loose. And then I don't know if like right through here, it gets really tight. So now she'll spin right out. And you see how that dropped a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just lift the car up a little bit more, and you'll see that that mount moves. So I should be able to get that guy out of here soon enough. Alright, that one's out. And that one there. And you can see how they're not cross-threaded or anything. So you can just see how they're nice and clean. But yeah, she's definitely... Look at that, you can actually see thread on that. I wonder if that is actually cross-threading in there, and that's why she's so tight there. Just because I can see those lines right there. Well, that could be a problem. Now I got to get this upper bolt. I don't know if I can get it with this impact. Oh, I can get it up there. And that one's just as tight. I'll break that one by hand. Oh, geez, bud. How tight did you make that? I don't remember making it that tight. There, that mount come off. And we'll go ahead. Again, I did this all by hand before, so I don't remember using that much force. There we go. That comes right out. And yeah, see, that one's the exact same way, so I think that's just the way they are. But you'll see right here, this is what I mean. See where these things were, and that looks like an old brake, and that's definitely an old brake. This one looks like a newer brake, but this thing only goes in one way to key it, and I was just like, well, that could be my issue, so I got to get this thing back in here into position, and that should, if I'm going in there, look at that, just fell right into place. Look at that. All right, get this screw, sorry, get this bolt. I guess technically it's a screw, or is it a bolt? Because it's screwing into something. Just make sure I'm not going to go impacting this thing here. I just want to make sure, in fact, that she's going on. So, what the hell? Let's set to on. Oh yeah, okay, so that is going in. Just to speed things up. And I'll torque it up by hand, but there, that's in. I'll torque that up by hand. This guy right here, same thing. He should be right in the same spot. Come on. Okay, hold on a second. So why isn't that going in? Last time I did this, I had no problem. It just fell right into place. So I lifted in the wrong spot here. Yeah, the bolt's against the exhaust now. Ah, all right. So maybe I did this backwards. I don't remember doing it like this, but well, let's see if I can get this bolt out. We'll put the bottom one in first. All right, get her out. As they say, live and learn, I suppose, eh? So that goes into that slot. There we go. So she's keyed. I don't remember. What the heck is going on here? Hold on, I'll figure this thing out. So I do not know why my camera stopped recording there when I was hitting my buttons, but I had to move the jack down. So I was actually jacking in the wrong spot. So I'll move it down right about where the cross member is there, and it actually gets this thing right into place. So I've actually hand tightened these things into place, and I've just got to basically, I've got to work them in right now, and I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm sorry. I just want to let you know that that's actually how I got these guys in place here. So that thing's going to rattle around and all that kind of stuff. So I got the top bolt in here, so you guys can hear that. That one's going in. So is that coming off? Oh, it's off. Weird. All right. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get these in as I was saying. I'll get this top one in nice and tight. And for some reason why it didn't record, but I have had under corrosion free done on this car, so if it looks like it's coated, that's why. The transmission is looks like it's dripping on me. So that's something else I got to do too, is double check my transmission fluid. I think that seal, I did replace that seal, but I have a funny feeling that seal is leaking again. And that's easy enough to do. But I'll double check my tranny fluid and make sure that's all good too. That thing's got a slow leak. I might be down on transmission fluid. Anyways, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these things up here. And you don't need to see me do all this. Just wrenching on stuff. So I'll tighten this all up, put the heat shield back on, and we'll take her for a test drive there and see what's up. Actually, before I do, once I get this all tightened up, I will actually go ahead and check the transmission fluid. Make sure that level is fine and dandy. And there we go, that's to the tightness there. And I'll start tightening this one here up as I was talking to you guys. Go ahead and tighten it up. And this is what I said on the impact. For some reason, man, right about here, this stuff gets really, really tight. Like, this is really tight. It feels like it's stripped, but it's not. Go ahead, I should use my solid, not this bend one. All right, we'll come back to just as I'm finishing this thing up. Nice. Just use the impact. Get her in there good and tight. As they say, some ugga-duggas. I'll go back to what I was saying earlier. If you guys actually have an Explorer, you may not have this heat shield. So if you can get underneath your Explorer, it's a little bit taller than the Interceptors or the Tauruses, check to see if you got a heat shield there. And if you don't, you can actually replace this mount with one or for one with a heat shield. As again in that video, I think I did a video where I replaced this because mine was rotted right out. And I was just like, no! And it's inexpensive. Even this mount's not that much. That piece there, that support was my cost, 38 bucks, I think, or around $38 anyways. I don't remember specifically what this thing cost me, and this was cheap too. So, yeah, so this is all tied up now. So I'll go ahead and call this thing done. That's the old one. That'll go in the old scrap pile there. And, yep, that's her, she's done. So I'll go ahead and wrap this thing all up here, grab the tools together that I've had, drop this thing down, and take her for a quick test drive there. I'll see if I can bring you guys along. All right, stay tuned. My engine bay, I gotta do some wire management, obviously. If you ever wanna know, it's right down. Geez, if I can get a picture of it there. Oh geez, that's not showing anything, is it? It's right down there for the fill, right in between there. What I do is release this. You gotta pull this thing. Oh, sorry, pull this thing towards you and up, and this releases. And somebody else didn't do that. This has been like this since I bought it. Come over here, unplug the O2 sensor, pull it off, and then you get this whole air box up out of the way to reach down there to the transmission fill. I did just top her up a little bit. She was a little bit down. I don't know if that had anything to do with anything, but make sure that thing's snapped in. There she is. All right. So that portion is done. So I will go ahead and close the hood for now. And we'll take this thing for a test drive and see if that has fixed my issue. We'll find out. Okay. Take a little drive here. Still has that vibration, but it's not as bad as it was. Yeah, see, before it was like a torque vibration. So as soon as I touch the throttle, now I've still got a little bit of it, but that's way better. So what I'll probably do is tomorrow, well, I'm going to fill the car up today. I will drive the car tomorrow, to work tomorrow. And yeah, it actually feels way better. Yeah, it's way better than what it was. So yeah, I'm just gonna add more tranny fluid to it. So I have a funny suspicion, because that thing is hard to check while the car's running, because you know. So I'll have to double check. I'll run this thing here. It's going to be hot by the time I get it back home, but that's already made a huge difference. So yeah, I'm just going to top up, make sure the transmission fluid's topped up, and I'll top the tank up too, because she's down a quarter tank right now. So I'll go ahead and fill her up. So if you do end up buying this, come on, turkeys, move. You hear me coming? Move. Come on, move. Move. There you go. Almost wanted to squawk them, but all right. Well, just spun around. Still accelerates fine, shifting's fine. So yeah, I think that's what she might have been, a combination of that mount and probably a little bit low on tranny fluid. So I'll call this all but repaired. 629,000 kilometers on her, and she's still going strong. So yeah. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. Hope you guys found this video useful and helpful, all that kind of stuff. Like I said too, this may be the last video you ever see of this car. I'm hoping that I have her sold, and my plan is actually, like I said, to buy a smaller car that's more fuel efficient, to just run up and down the highway. That's all I want to do. This car here does pretty good on fuel. In the summertime, I've had it as low as 10.4 liters per 100 kilometers. I'm not sure what that is in MPG, to be honest with you. In the wintertime, they're running around with the heat on, defrost, which has your AC on when you're defrosting. I get about 12 in the wintertime, obviously with all the cold starts and stuff. So 12.2 or 12.4 liters per 100 in the winter, and I've had it as low as 10.2. But I want to get down to like 5s or 6s, so looking for something way more fuel efficient. All right, thanks a lot for watching. You guys found this video helpful and useful, all that kind of stuff. Please like, share, leave a comment, and I will see all you guys next time.